Game on, brother!
Game on. Grab the nets. Sticks in the middle, everybody. Not only is it time for another episode of Straight Off the Pipe, but the fans have been clamoring. Everybody's been asking. People calling us, people texting us, people DMing us. When is Straight Off the Pipe coming back on the air, ladies and gentlemen? Here we are. With me, as always, my co-host on Straight Off the Pipe. I am Dash in the Park, and with me is, I don't know what to call you anymore, but you are Mike Dursa. You are the Mega Thread. You're the mayor of Grand Prairie. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Well, I'm a little better than I was this morning. Going for breakfast with you. It's not very often I leave stuff on my plate, but I think I only got about halfway through my breakfast, and I managed to keep everything down. But yeah, I might have overdid it a little bit after the first period of that hockey game, and yeah, it was a little bit rough this morning, but we're okay now. We're good to go.
Well,
Season two.
I give Dursa credit. You got probably 60% through that breakfast. I'll give you over half, and I thought you did all right. I really did. Now, I'm not sure what the cause of you wanting to remove your breakfast from your guts was, and I'm going to assume it was the score last night after you trekked your 7,000 miles in from up north and went to the game with your better half and ended up with a result like that. If I don't recall, or if I do recall, you were undefeated at Rogers last year. So after starting this one 0-1, I would like to thankfully kind you to just maybe stay the fuck home for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But I do want your thoughts. Game one, we came up against the Canucks. Old habits die hard. The Oilers have a poor start. Campbell settles the ship, and the boys get back in, and we end up winning after overcoming a 3-goal deficit, and come back to win 5-3. Last night, not quite the same. We had that same 3-goal deficit, and we had that same shitty start. We just couldn't dig ourselves out of the hole. What were your thoughts overall for those two games, buddy?
So yeah, the Vancouver game, hard to get out of the gate on time. It seems like that same old that was a part of their that plagued them last year has
Right.
reared its ugly head again, where they don't start on time. Yeah, I thought Jack Campbell played really well against Vancouver. And last night, I didn't really like his game, but I didn't like a lot of people's game last night. I was disappointed, and lots of people are pointing to the goaltending and the decor and stuff. I was disappointed in the forwards as well. I didn't really see much of anything that I really liked out there. Yeah, I thought guys like Yamamoto, Puliarvi, these guys that should be chomping at the bit to try to prove themselves as players, even Kane, just didn't have it last night. And we're only the second game in the season, and for me, it raises an eyebrow. I mean, Calgary started well, and it seemed like just about everything they were shooting was going in the net, but they were getting to the tough areas of the ice rather easily, and that can't happen against good teams, or you won't win. And that's exactly what happened last night. I thought when Skinner came in, he settled them down and he gave them a chance in that game, but
Yep.
they kind of ran out of time.
Yep.
The third,
I don't know if they ran out of time. They just didn't do enough in the third.
yeah, it wasn't. They didn't play with enough desperation. I was thinking, after the first 10 minutes of that hockey game, I thought it was going to be just an absolute clinic. Like, I thought we were in for an 8 or 9, 3 kind of game, and luckily it didn't end up being that. But it was basically that after 10 minutes. Like, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, Jesus, there's still 10 minutes to go in the first here, and ugly. No other way to put it. No real desperation to their game, like I say. And to me, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, Calgary remembers what happened to them. and we easily forgot because you won. And they say some of the best lessons in life don't come from the victories; they come from the defeats. And
We're licking Colorado wounds. They're licking Edmonton wounds.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're on a bit of a mission. So we need to gather ourselves and get back at it, and that starts on Tuesday.
Yeah, you said that to me this morning when we had breakfast, and I hadn't had it put to me that way. And for one of the rare times I had to agree with you, I did. It just really did feel like Calgary wanted to win that game, and Edmonton didn't really care. The Flames locked her down in the third when they needed to. Sutter's system was Sutter's system. And right now, the Oilers just look discombobulated. Game 1, they needed Campbell to settle the ship. Game 2, they needed Skinner to settle the ship. I believe they had an easier team to come back on against the Canucks, and Calgary's a damn good team, and they nipped it in the bud while they could, and that was that. Their possession and Corsi and Fenwick numbers were in the 30s for the third period, so it was a clinic by the Flames at that point in time. There is a lot of blame going around about the goaltending. I'm not ready to blame anybody on this team solely or solidarily yet. Give me 10 games or 20 games and I might start getting heated about something. But honestly, Campbell played good after he got sniped by JT Miller in the first game. I think that was his slap in the face and his tortilla shell to the face, and woke up. And after that, was fine. And this last game, I don't think Campbell played great. I'm not going to sit here and defend Campbell's play, but this is a team game. And after 3 shifts, Ryan Murray was -3. Yeah. And, that D pairing was -3. And
Brett Kulak has to, go back to the circles and find his ankle.
Brett Kulak needs to, get those ankles out of the boiling pot of water, because they were spaghetti, man, on both. I would say 2 of those goals, he looked awful. And that's coming off the first game where they were on that pairing with Barry. He was on the ice for 12 shots against and 1 shot for. And that's the effort you put up in your second game. Bouchard and Murray have not been great right from the start. They're -7 combined on the season now in 2 games. And the high danger scoring chances are 16 in 2 games. You can't be giving up that kind of opportunity. But you brought up a good point too, is the forwards haven't been there for the defense and for the goaltending. You look at just the first goal of the season. Holloway puts a pizza right up the middle, and the Canucks capitalize, right? And last night, again, first goal for the Flames. Unfortunately, Holloway's on the ice again, and the puck hits his stick after a very poor effort on the board by both Murray and Bouchard. You got beat 1-on-2. The puck comes out of there, and there you go. It's in the back of the net before you know it. I feel bad for Holloway. I thought he's played okay in the last 2 games and held his own, but to be on the ice for both of the other team's first goals and your first shift was a little rough. What have you thought of Dylan's play?
Wasn't a big factor last night. I was kind of disappointed. And lots of forwards that way. They're just ho-hum games, that's. What's funny is you were talking about Campbell there before, and I'm walking out of the rink, and Ryan Rashog is on the escalator going past us the other way.
Oh, hey, Durst, he goes, right?
No, but I see him going out, and then I see your tweet when we get back to the hotel room about Spectre trying to run Campbell out of town, and you're like, your babysitter still got your nose. I kind of chuckled at that, so. But it's funny. It wasn't Rashog trying to run Campbell out of town. It's Spec, so
I'm honestly surprised Spectre hasn't blocked me yet, to be honest.
Maybe he has a sense of humor, because that was funny.
Well, hopefully he can appreciate it. I'm not just coming right down on him, but he's got a way about him, right? He's got that reputation of being negative or being too brash with the players. And, it was proven last year when McDavid and Draisaitl had to pull him aside after one of the press conferences. Hey, Spec, come here for a sec. So, there's a way he can word it. And when his tweet comes out, Campbell could use to at least make a save tonight. Well, he had made a save. He made 6 of them at that point. And sure, that wasn't enough.
No.
But I don't care what anybody says. No goalie should have to face 11 shots in the first 9.5 minutes. Is that Campbell's fault?
Yeah.
Spec? Or anyone else that wants to jump down the goaltender's
I think Calgary had 4 goals on 14.
Game 2.
I think Calgary had 4 goals on 14. Maybe it was 16, but still, I mean, that many shots in 10 minutes. I mean, it was an onslaught. Yeah. I mean, you're way too porous.
Skinner was
way too porous.
Oh, for sure. I thought Skinner was probably their best player last night. Pretty tough to deny that, given the effort of everybody else. But I'm honestly not really sure the Oilers deserve to win either game. If you break down game 1 of the season, it really came down to special teams. Do you think, or what were your thoughts on game 1 and the difference between the Canucks and the Oilers?
Talent. I think that's really what decided that one. Yeah. And I mean, Jack Campbell just kind of held in there and gave them a chance to wake up. Like they were sleepwalking at the start of that game, and then
for sure.
And then they woke up. And I hope this isn't that same thing where we're going to see 10, 12 games before they decide, okay, we need to play 60 minutes of hockey, and start coming out, trying to win right off the bat instead of waiting till it's bad before they wake up. Like, it's not a good recipe for success.
Well, they've done it twice, and I don't know how many times it makes to create a habit, but you're going to start tacking it onto last year's regular season. I'm pretty sure there's a pretty hard trend there. And yeah, I honestly said to my wife watching the game, came through that hit 30 seconds in and plastered Uyghur on the end boards, and Yamel came in kind of like a little dog biting at his ankle right afterwards. And I thought, that's what we needed last year, was Cade going out and throwing a huge hit against their best defenseman.
Right.
And by the time I finished my sentence, the puck was in our net.
Yeah.
So like as soon as I was about to praise a good start, it went to shit before it even.
Yeah, and then they answered pretty quickly, and then they went back to sleep.
Yeah, it was a 3-punch combo for me in game 1. First punch was the setup, call it the jab, and Darnell Nurse plasters Burrows into the end boards. Going back and looking at it, what I love about it is both Kane and Nurse give him one there, and roll it back a little bit. Burrows had just cheaped JP, and both of those big boys, like the 2 toughest guys we have on our team, right after JP took a little chip from Burrows, went in and showed him, right? So there's punch number 1. And punch number 2, I thought, was Campbell settling the boat, right? Everything kind of, after that happened, they give up the power play goal to Vancouver on the Nurse penalty. And then I felt like the team just went, okay, right? Doc did that for us. Campbell settled in. We owe it to them. And that's when special teams took over. When you break down that game, I think the Oilers had 11.5 minutes of penalty kill and gave up 1 power play goal and got a shorty, whereas they had less than 2 minutes of power play time and scored 3. That's the difference in the game for me right there. And, that leads to what you said. The high-end talent is there, and that's why you score on the power play. So then going on to the next one. So what do you think the difference between the Oilers and the Flames was?
Yeah. I mean, Calgary started on time. It was the same thing all over again. Calgary started on time. They got going, and we started late. And I think after we had a little flurry in the second there, they made a couple adjustments, and it became a snoozer of a third period. Really, there wasn't much for either team going back and forth. And
isn't that how the Flames drew it up?
I think so. I think that's Sutter hockey, just lull you to sleep and walk away with 2 points.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
The last 5 minutes, I think we controlled the play, but there just wasn't a lot of dangerous stuff being generated out there.
Yeah, I would agree.
Could have ended the
I
exact same way as the Vancouver game with a 5-3 score, just with the other guys being up by two. So now
Yep.
your bold prediction there starting to look pretty solid.
Yeah, lots of hockey to play.
But
Lots of
only two
hockey to
games
play, right?
in. Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
I think they'll figure some things out, but it is a bit of a concern to, start have two back-to-back starts that are lackluster.
Absolutely. Patience. Patience. I think, like we said, let's judge again after game 10 and maybe game 20. Um, that said, it's, just slightly concerning, right? We thought, oh, great, we got Woody
Yeah,
and Manson for a full training camp, and
yeah.
they'll get that system under wraps, and they'll make sure that we're starting on time and get all the details down, and everything about those last two games tells me we're in for another roller coaster. And I hope it's not that way. I really hope that we can have a more consistent season instead of the 15-5 and 5-15 and 15-5 and 5 and
I got
15. Like,
I got a question for you that you're totally not prepared for.
oh, great.
It's not that tough though. There's only two possible answers to it. Well, maybe three, but
Depends how many eyes you have open.
yeah, yeah. And how many socks I have
Shoot.
on. Who do you start against Buffalo?
Skinner.
I agree.
I think he was the best player in the game. Now, the naysayer, devil's advocate, says you got to put Campbell back in and give him a chance, right? And let him redeem himself.
Do
And I'm
you?
not against that. It's early, but Skinner earned the net. And
Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
he should be in the net.
No, and I think Campbell needs a little bit of time to reevaluate.
Think about it for a bit.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna have to be a 60-40 split the whole way, anyways. I'm thinking. So at the end of the day, if at the end of the 10-game stretch, we've got 6 games for Campbell and 4 games for Skinner, then he's got to start him sooner or later. So maybe why not against Buffalo? Potentially a weaker team. Not that. Hey, let's hope that the other old habits don't also present themselves where we're playing down to the lower level teams as well, and perhaps Buffalo will be a test of that tomorrow, won't it?
yeah.
Not tomorrow,
That's
sorry.
Tuesday, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, do you get up for that game? Or you just go into it and wait for them to smack you in the mouth and then wake up and hopefully have
Mm-hmm.
enough to get through it. Like, yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I wasn't overly impressed with Jonathan Huberdeau, but I guess from a Calgary perspective, if he's not really having much of a game, when he does, you're going to be even better. So,
Yeah, I mean, hey, and I don't disagree with you, but if the Flames can do that to a Stanley Cup contender like the Oilers, then you don't even hear Huberdeau's name said by the announcer until the second period. They're doing something right,
yeah,
and the thing that made me laugh last night the most was, everybody's talking about, well, who's going to replace the scoring. There's Goudreau and Taychuk leave the team with their 40-plus goals each, and Huberdeau's just a setup man, and Kadri can't repeat what he did. Who's going to score for the Flames? Stone. That's who. There's the prediction nobody was willing to make.
yeah,
But that's a perfect example of how the Flames can contribute by committee, because they're playing a system and they're contributing and doing the right things in the system.
yeah. It was tough. A game like that, I wish I was there by myself, but my work, um, they got kind of a suite for the game, and in that box, about a third of them were Flames fans too. So I didn't think
Ouch.
I didn't think they'd allow Flames sweaters inside suites, but apparently they do.
And yet you don't have any scrapes or cuts on your knuckles, so I'm not really sure what to think about you right now. But yes, maybe about the same I always do.
Yeah,
Lazy left winger.
it's me.
Any other highlights for you out of those 2 games? What'd you think of the Hyman hit? Curious about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anderson kind of got stuck in a rut there. It looked like, and yeah, it wasn't that bad, but I guess try to protect the player a little bit. But I don't know. To me, he was caught kind of fumbling around with the puck and got ran over, and you sort of expect that, but.
Not going to take that away from you. I think Hyman has a responsibility to not absolutely follow through and plow somebody head first into the boards when they're in a vulnerable position. But I'm not just saying that as an Oiler fan. If this happened to an Oiler, I'd say the same thing. And I think the prime responsibility lies with Anderson. Don't put yourself in that position, right? Like, you watch that replay. Anderson knows Hyman's coming. He knows damn well Hyman's coming. He's 6 feet away from him and completely in his range of sight. There's nobody in between him. There's no sneakiness about it. He knows Hyman's coming, and at the speed he's coming, he's going to get hit. Unfortunately, he bobbled the puck. So I'm thinking, if I put myself in RA's shoes there, what am I going to do? Oh, crap, I bobbled it. I know the hit's coming. Your instincts are just to probably protect the puck, right? You don't want to get blown up. You don't want to lose the puck on a big dramatic giveaway. So you try and protect the puck. But I think like his muscle memory didn't do him any good. Like, there's one thing to have instincts, and it's another thing to not put yourself in a vulnerable position and be responsible for your own safety.
Hyman didn't absolutely bury him there either, though. It wasn't that bad.
Man,
no,
he came
it wasn't.
Close. If he could have hit him at a 10, then he hit him at a 9.
He collided with the boards, but I don't think it was dangerous.
It was dangerous. It's always dangerous when you're hitting somebody in the numbers.
Yeah, it's the NHL. Come on.
I'm sick and tired of guys turning every single time and thinking they can draw a penalty. And if that's, I'm not sure in that instance he thought I'm going to turn and draw a penalty because he did bobble the puck. I really just think it was a.
And the puck was basically.
Oh shit, he's coming! I better protect this. And
the puck was basically in his feet. So, and rather than kick it to his stick, he tried to grab it with his stick. Like, I don't know.
He was in between, kind of, and he just looked back for it. And as he looked back for it, he knew Hyman was coming, so he pivoted. Right? Yeah. But you go and pivot towards the boards, and you show a guy your numbers when you know damn well they're coming at you like a freight train. Expect to get hit in the numbers. Yeah. Honestly, and I think the reason that he didn't get hurt maybe is because he did know the hit was coming. He could brace himself a little bit. So
wasn't head into boards. It was kind of shoulders and back. So.
Well, if Darnell Nurse could get fined $5,000 for an interference call, do you think that Hyman's got any
no
any replica? No, you think you laugh at it? Hey, I would have laughed when I heard Nurse was getting one too.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a $5,000 fine on an interference call before?
I don't know what that was. It was just
roughing. Sure.
To me, it was a late hit. To me, it was a late hit. Warranted the penalty, and that should have been the end of it.
Well, I would say our good close personal friend George Peros was probably trying to send a message, right? And you do that at the beginning of the year. You know, let's be honest. That's like you getting an $11 parking ticket in Grand Prairie. It doesn't put a dent in much. It's the same cost as a sandwich and a Slurpee, but ultimately, I think the message is there. And if they're going to keep sending that message, I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Hyman sees something on Monday.
George was saying that's unsafe. Yeah.
Unsafe. Hashtag. Registered trademark.
That's right.
That's right. All right, buddy. Well, I don't know. We're getting close to wrapping up. We're at the half here, and I've said what I want to say about the games. I think ultimately we'll try and keep these shows to 45 minutes and under moving forward. I like to pretend I don't like Dursa, but what some of you have probably figured out is I actually do. Not really, but kind of. So it's hard for us to argue too much in that long of a time. So we figure maybe if we have shorter episodes, we can fight more, which is kind of the whole goal of this.
That's right.
So I say we'll get along for the season 2 premiere. I don't know about much after that, but if you want to close off, I had fun at breakfast with you. Good to see you in person again, and like I said, stay in Grand Prairie for the rest of them.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the good luck is gone. Yeah, that's it. I'm fired, and we bicker and fight like married with children, Al and Peg, yeah. But you're a pretty little fella, and I appreciate the breakfast and the conversation, and your little man, he's a treat. And yeah, next time I won't go to the game, but I'll come see you.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and keep your sticks on the ice. Keep reaching for the stars, and let's beat the Sabres on Tuesday. Go Oilers, go. Good night, everybody.
Go Oilers. Bring that ass to the big comfy couch next time. We'll see what the record is here.
Your mic is still hot, you lunatic.
You stay away from Rogers. I'm perfectly aware. I know how this works. Trust the process. Play the system.
We're the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Fill lanes, close gaps, pucks deep. Good night.